Okay, so carrying on with the second part of this video, subsection 2 goes on to say the following. This section applies to a person who is, in relation to a pupil, a member of the staff of any school at which education is provided for the pupil. So this is saying that this applies to a member of staff at any school where education is provided. However, it's also interesting that the DfE guidance, which also says that this power applies to all staff, states that it can apply to any persons who the head teacher has temporarily put in charge of pupils, such as unpaid volunteers or parents accompanying students on a school organised visit. So in these circumstances, these people will become staff for the purposes of the law. Subsection 3 then says as follows. The power conferred by subsection 1 may be exercised only where A. The member of the staff and the pupil are on the premises of the school in question. So, as it says, on the school premises. Or B. They're elsewhere and the member of the staff has lawful control or charge of the pupil concerned. So this means circumstances where staff and pupils are not on school premises but are elsewhere, such as on a school visit or trip, and the staff have lawful control or charge in accordance with relevant legislation. And again, this is backed up by the DfE guidance, which states that reasonable force can be used by staff who have lawful charge of pupils in such situations as school trips. And here again, we might also be thinking of volunteers or parents who have been authorised by the head teacher. Finally, subsection 4 says the following. Subsection 1 does not authorise anything to be done in relation to a pupil which constitutes the giving of corporal punishment within the meaning of section 548 of the Education Act 1996. So what section 93 quite clearly does not authorise is the use of force for the purposes of giving corporal punishment, which is now outlawed under section 548 of the Education Act 1996. Again, this is reinforcing the guidance which states that it is always unlawful to use force as a punishment. And this is essentially the same as the concept in the wider use of reasonable force, that force is never reasonable if it's used for revenge, retaliation, retribution or to teach a lesson, although subsection 4 here is specifically related to corporal punishment in schools, such as the use of the cane in the bad old days. So we cannot use force to punish, bottom line. As I said before, I'd strongly recommend downloading and reading the DfE guidance as pictured below for further reference. It's entitled Use of Reasonable Force, Advice for Head Teachers, Staff and Governing Bodies, July 2013. So if you put that into a search engine, it should come up pretty quickly. As I said before, it's an excellent piece of guidance covering schools in England. There is actually a separate piece of guidance, if in Wales, produced by the Welsh Assembly Government. However, please bear in mind that it is non-statutory, which means it is only guidance, not law itself, which is, of course, what section 93 is. Also, you might be interested to know that we'll be producing a video in relation to this guidance in the near future, so watch out for that very soon.
Okay, so that about wraps it up for section 93 of the Education Inspections Act 2006. Now, although this confers an important power on staff to use reasonable force as a last resort in a school setting, it's also important to bear in mind that in order for them to do so, they need to be suitably and sufficiently trained. And the responsibility for this lies with the head teacher, senior management and the school governing body. And this is not just from an educational duty of care point of view, which is owed to both pupils and staff alike, but also from a point of view of health and safety legislation and, if covered by the state, Article 2 of the Human Rights Act 1998, which guarantees the right to life. And that guarantee is a positive obligation. So basically the bottom line is that senior managers have to do their due diligence in relation to any training which is commissioned. So if you are a head teacher or a senior manager or a member of a school governing body, you need to make sure that any training that is commissioned by the school is appropriate, safe and legally compliant. Now this is where Davis training can come in, because we use the NFPS system, which is a system of positive intervention and physical intervention, and one of the most legally defensible on the market. So if that's something that will assist you, then by all means get in touch. In fact, my website link will be coming out very soon, nicholas-davis.com. And indeed, you can even email me directly on mail@nicholas-davis.com. And if there's anything you need to know and anything I can assist you with, then please feel free to get in touch. Indeed, if it would assist, I can even come to your school and deliver a free talk on the 3 key points of guidance from the DFE's use of force guidance document, which we covered in the previous presentation. So if that's something that will assist you, by all means get in touch. I'll be very pleased to hear from you. Okay, so that about wraps it up. I'd like to say thank you very much for listening. My name's Nick Davis, and I'll see you in the next video.